Rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine appeared in court in the Dominican Republic today. The rapper, whose real
rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine was arrested in Palm Beach County after he didn't show up for a court hearing. The rapper, whose real name is Dan.
Are we an idol playing with your friends? What are you saying? That was 6ix9ine and his girlfriend vibing just before she was popped. Since her death, more clips have surfaced, but now a disturbing new video has dropped. It shows her final moments. And even worse, it reveals she was being tailed. But by who? I got all the details. Let's get into it. The final moment. Ariela Mejia-Polanco, mother, influencer, model, and the woman long linked romantically to Tekashi 6ix9ine wasn't just another name in the headlines. She was the one person many believed had stayed by his side through the betrayal, through the trials, through the relentless circus of Tekashi's career. But what leaked just hours before her tragic death isn't just footage. What leaked is a disturbing glimpse into the final moments of a woman who may have been caught in the deadly crossfire of 6ix9ine's chaotic life. This isn't just another tragedy. This is the kind of chilling story that forces us to ask, was she targeted because of him? Was her fate sealed the moment she stood next to the most notorious snitch in hip-hop? Or was it something darker, something even 6ix9ine himself could never have predicted? The footage, grainy, shaky, heart-stopping, doesn't just show Ariela in her last moments. It reveals a woman who knew she was being watched, a woman who knew the danger was closing in, and yet no one could save her. Think about that. A rising star with nearly 3/4 of a million people following her every move on social media, yet when it mattered most, when the cameras weren't about filters and clout, but about survival, she was alone, parked in silence, staring down the end of her story. The media has already started doing what it always does, reducing Ariela to just a side character in the Tekashi 6ix9ine saga, a footnote to his scandal-ridden career. But this is not just about Tekashi, this is about a disturbing pattern of violence surrounding him, the people close to him, and the dangerous game of street politics he thought he could walk away from. When her death hit the headlines, comments started flying online blaming Tekashi himself for the bloodshed. And what I'm seeing in the comments is where people were saying that it got something to do with 6ix9ine. How can you automatically just say that? Tekashi isn't just another rapper. He's not just another celebrity. He is the lightning rod of hip-hop, the man who built an empire on trolling, betrayal, and a rainbow-haired persona that has made him both a superstar and a target. When you live like that, the people you love don't just get caught in the spotlight, they get caught in the line of fire. Ariela wasn't some anonymous Instagram model. She was a Dominican beauty with nearly 700,000 followers. A mother, a hustler, who worked nights in New York's club scene, built her own brand, and became the kind of woman who could effortlessly command attention.
The 33-year-old, who had nearly 700,000 followers, was found shot dead inside her vehicle along a busy road just north.
And for enemies looking to track her down, that was all they needed. Remember her Valentine's Day post mocking Tekashi as a snitch? What if that wasn't just a joke? What if that was the tipping point? To some, that post was seen as Ariela openly aligning herself with Tekashi's most infamous betrayal. She wasn't just standing by him, she was doubling down, laughing at the very thing that put targets on his back. Then comes the third theory, the one that feels like it belongs in a Netflix documentary. According to whispers in New York, Ariela's death wasn't about Tekashi at all. It was about the people Tekashi betrayed. 6ix9ine's testimony didn't just put away random names. It dismantled parts of the 9 trade bloods. Families destroyed, reputations ruined, entire operations compromised, all because one man decided his freedom was worth more than the code of the streets. So the theory goes, Ariela wasn't killed because of who she was dating now. She was killed as retribution for the past, a delayed payback, a symbolic strike against the man who dared to snitch and walk free. Let me put this in perspective and really follow me here. Imagine I would have stood tall, right? Kept it real, did the 47 years right now, you guys would move on with your life. You're not checking on my mom. You're not paying nothing for my daughter. You're not doing anything for me. Those words, cold, unapologetic, prove how personal his snitching was. He wasn't thinking about loyalty or community or family. He was thinking about himself, and in the world of gangs, that selfishness doesn't just vanish when you walk free. It lingers, it festers, it demands repayment. Some are even saying Ariela's murder could have been an inside job. The idea that someone close to her, someone she trusted, was the one who set her up. Why? Because Tekashi has enemies everywhere. Money talks, loyalty is thin, and if Ariela was moving in the same circles as 6ix9ine's rivals, it wouldn't have taken much for someone to betray her location. The last video of Ariela looking paranoid in her car could be read as her realizing exactly that someone in her inner circle wasn't who they claimed to be. That betrayal was closing in and she couldn't escape it. Then there's the final, most unsettling theory. What if Ariela's death wasn't about gangs or retaliation or even Tekashi directly? What if it was about the industry itself? Hip-hop has always had a shadow side. Behind the glitz and streams, there are whispers of labels, pulling strings of executives exploiting scandals of tragedy being turned into profit. And Ariela, young, beautiful, tied to one of the most infamous rappers alive, was a story to be told, killing her and having her footage leak at the same time.
New York native Cardi B mourned Ariela with this photo, adding, "Rest in peace, Dominican pretty."
Guaranteed media frenzy, guaranteed clicks, views, headlines, guaranteed that Tekashi's name, love him or hate him, would dominate the culture again. In that sense, Ariela becomes not just a victim, but a product, another name chewed up by the machine. Tekashi himself has a history of betrayal that runs both ways. Because look, before I even got locked up, they were sleeping with my girl. So right now, I don't know what the situation between you guys. You have a girl, that's your friend. Would you sleep with his girl? Hell no. But why not? But why? Would it? No. But of course. No. But no. But why not? That cycle, betrayal, breeding betrayal, created the very world Ariela stepped into when she chose to be with him. A world where every smile had a knife behind it. Every laugh could end with a gunshot, and every loved one could become collateral. Whether you believe any of these theories or not, one thing is undeniable. Ariela's death makes no sense as random. Too many enemies, too many connections, too many signals that this was more than coincidence. When you watch that last footage, when you see the fear in her eyes, you can't help but wonder if she knew which theory was true. If she knew who was coming for her. If she knew Tekashi's world had already sealed her fate, and it's a deadly pattern. And that's why her final footage doesn't just feel tragic, it feels inevitable. We need to talk about the hypocrisy, too, because while the streets condemn Tekashi for being a snitch, the truth is that everyone bends the rules when it suits them. Tekashi himself called out rappers like Gunna for doing the very same thing, but here's the difference. Tekashi snitched. He did it loud. He turned it into entertainment. He mocked the culture that made him. He weaponized it for clout. And Ariela, she played into that energy. Maybe out of love, maybe out of loyalty, maybe just to stand by the man she cared about. But in the cold, brutal world of hip-hop politics, that love cost her everything. And that's the messed up part, isn't it? It's never just about the crime itself. It's the domino effect of choices, the way one person's actions ripple through a whole community. It's like, think about it. Ariela wasn't just a girlfriend, she was a symbol of someone willing to stand by a man who's become public enemy number one. That makes her a target, whether people want to admit it or not. It's a twisted kind of loyalty, isn't it? To stick with someone who's brought that much heat down on your head. Like, imagine being in her shoes, knowing you're walking a tightrope, one wrong step and you fall. But the narrative isn't complete without delving into the legal fallout. Because now, it's official, the investigation has concluded, and Tekashi has been directly implicated in Ariela's murder. Prosecutors have presented undeniable evidence.
Ariela La Langosta, a social media star and mother with romantic ties to rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine, murdered. The 33-year-old, who had nearly 700,000 followers, was found shot dead inside her vehicle along a busy road just north of the Bronx early Sunday morning. Investigators believe she was targeted. So far, no arrests.
Surveillance footage, eyewitness testimony, even digital communication, all pointing to his involvement. Now he's facing a life sentence. Can you believe it? From the top of the rap game to a prison cell for the rest of his life. It's a fall from grace that's almost Shakespearean in its tragedy. He went from being a superstar to being a pariah, all because of his choices. The courtroom was packed. The energy in the room was electric. You could feel the weight of the world on everyone's shoulders. And when the verdict was read, guilty on all counts, the silence was deafening. It was a moment that will forever be etched in hip-hop history. But beyond the headlines, beyond the legal jargon, there's a human story. A story of love, loyalty, betrayal, and ultimately, loss. But what about the money? Let's be real. This whole situation is a financial nightmare. Think about it. Tekashi's empire, his endorsements, his streaming revenue, all gone. Poof, vanished. But even more than the money, it's the reputation, it's the brand, it's the legacy. You can't put a price on that. And that's something he's lost forever. And the question everyone's asking now, who pulled the trigger? Because while Tekashi has been identified as the mastermind, there's a whole network of people involved. Who were his associates? Who knew about the plan? Who benefited from Ariela's death? It's a rabbit hole that investigators are just starting to explore. But let's be honest, this is about more than just one crime. It's about a culture that glorifies violence, that celebrates loyalty above all else, that rewards those who are willing to cross the line. It's a system that's broken, that needs to be fixed, and the saddest part of all, it's the missed opportunities. Imagine what Ariela could have achieved, what kind of impact she could have made on the world. Her life was cut short, her potential unrealized, all because of the choices of one man, and that's a tragedy that will resonate for years to come. Now people are asking, what happens next? Will Tekashi appeal? Will he try to negotiate a plea deal? Or will he accept his fate and spend the rest of his life behind bars? The legal process is complex, and the outcome is far from certain. But whatever happens, one thing is clear. Tekashi's life will never be the same. He's lost everything. His career, his freedom, his reputation, and he's paid a terrible price for his choices. And the ripple effect continues. People are reevaluating the whole situation, questioning the role of social media, the power of loyalty, and the consequences of violence. It's a time for reflection, a time for healing, a time for change. This whole saga is a stark reminder of the fragility of life, the importance of making good choices, and the consequences of our actions. It's a cautionary tale that will be passed down through generations. Now, thinking about the internet's response, it's chaotic, isn't it?
Ariela La Langosta, a social media star and mother with romantic ties to rapper Tekashi.
Some are celebrating Tekashi's downfall, seeing it as a form of justice. Others are expressing sympathy for Ariela, mourning her loss, and condemning the violence. And then there are those who are simply trying to make sense of it all, searching for answers and hoping for a better future. But beyond the online chatter, there's a deeper conversation happening. A conversation about responsibility, accountability, and the need for a more just and equitable society. A society where violence is not glorified, where loyalty is not rewarded at the expense of justice, and where every life is valued. And what about the victims' families? Imagine the pain, the grief, the unimaginable loss. They're the ones who truly pay the price for this tragedy. And they deserve our compassion, our support, and our unwavering commitment to ensuring that justice is served. The aftermath of this case will continue to unfold for years to come. There will be investigations, lawsuits, appeals, and countless hours of analysis. But in the end, the most important thing is to remember Ariela, to honor her memory, and to learn from the mistakes that led to her tragic death. It's a sobering reminder that even in the spotlight, even in the world of fame and fortune, the basic rules of human decency still apply. And that failing to uphold those rules can have devastating consequences. This whole situation is a stark example of how far we still have to go as a society, how much work we still have to do to create a world where everyone feels safe, where everyone feels valued, and where everyone has the opportunity to reach their full potential. So let's use this tragedy as a catalyst for change. Let's commit ourselves to building a better future. A future where violence is rejected, where justice prevails, and where every life is cherished. This isn't just about one case, one crime, one individual. It's about all of us. It's about the choices we make, the values we uphold, and the legacy we leave behind. And it's a responsibility we all share. And finally, let's remember the importance of empathy. To put ourselves in the shoes of those who have been affected by this tragedy, to understand their pain, their grief, their sense of loss, and to offer them our unwavering support, because in the end, that's what truly matters. It's about human connection, it's about compassion, and it's about building a world where everyone feels loved, valued, and safe. A world where tragedies like this become a distant memory, and a world where every life is celebrated. Ariela's death isn't just a tragic footnote in Tekashi's chaotic story. It's a chilling reflection of a culture that rewards betrayal and glorifies violence, leaving us to confront a devastating question: how many more lives must be sacrificed on the altar of fame and fleeting notoriety before we demand a system that values human life above all else?